I have discovered something truly magnificent. A way to literally spam Avada Kedavra in Hogwarts Legacy and kill entire groups of enemies within seconds. And no guys, this is not your regular Avada Kedavra or curse build. It is more than that. It is chaining Avada Kedavra and using it over and over. And without having to use dozens of potions or whatever. Which is really nice for arenas, for example, because usually you can't spam Avada Kedavra due to its very long cooldown. Now, I first wanted to make a Lord Voldemort lore accurate build, basically a role-playing build, but then I realized something. The roster of spells that you get in the game are literally all just spells that are part of the Hogwarts education program, except for the Unforgivables, which obviously Mr. Voldemort can cast as well. So Lord Voldemort, or Tom Riddle, his lesser cooler name, his actual name, and what he was called when he was still a student, literally knows of all these spells and can cast them all anyway, so making a build where we would otherwise limit ourselves based on what he can or can't cast becomes nonsensical. If you can do everything at the same time, well, then it kinda completely defeats the purpose of a build, and Hogwarts Legacy isn't really a build-centric type of game anyways, because you can literally just use everything at the same time, whatever you're wanting to roleplay as. But then I realized something, a particular trait of Voldemort himself that I haven't seen anywhere being capitalized on for a build. It is Voldemort's obsession with using the Unforgivables, especially his favorite one, his signature spell. He likes to spam Avada Kedavra, and he's obsessed with it. But it's not really possible to spam Avada Kedavra in Hogwarts Legacy, right? Why? Because this spell has a 90-second cooldown, and yeah, that's probably needed as it's literally the most broken thing in the game, as it just one-shots everything. But what if you find a way to trivialize this cooldown completely without having to use dozens of focus potions to reduce our cooldowns, but set up an Avada Kedavra one-shotting machine either way using spells where we can use Avada Kedavra for everything and actually become Lord Voldemort. So that's what we're going to do today. For this build, I want to maximize efficiency, meaning maximum results using the least amount of resources and effort. That means for talents, we only need to spend 7 points to get the incredible infinite one-shot everything machine going that I have in mind. In the Dark Arts 3, we spend 5 points. Obviously get the upgraded Avada Kedavra so we can actually get the ability to one-shot everything that is cursed and not just one target. Then the talent that upgrades Crucio to have a quick curse application on multiple targets. Then the Enduring Curse talent, so we have more leeway in setting up curses. Basically, when you apply a curse on something, it lasts for 20 seconds, but with this talent, it doubles to 40 seconds. With the setup that I will be showing you, it means that we can pretty much curse up to 40 mobs at once with it to one-shot the entire arena with Avada Kedavra if we want. But I would say that this is the only talent that is kinda optional, because with the setup that I will be showing you, we have the ability to use Avada Kedavra a lot, so we can also actually just one-shot smaller groups in succession instead of one big group. So that is completely up to you if you want to take it. Then you'll want to get the Curse Sapper talent, which is the only defensive talent that I took. With it and the setup that I will show you, we can pretty much just heal up from 0 to 100 instantly. And finally, we want the Flipendo talent. This is the only talent related to a non-dark art spell that we will be taking and actually using for this build, and it's extremely important. You will see why later on in this video as well. From the core talent tree, we only take Swift, and the reasoning is simple. With Swift, we create a lot of distance to our enemies pretty much instantly, and we need that. And yes, that also means that we're not even taking the Spell Knowledge talents. That's how truly powerful the idea behind this build is. And then for the final point, we will take the Focus Potion talent in the Room of Requirement tree. For this particular idea in this video, this talent point is absolutely crucial and very good. However, in any general build, so just like your regular build that doesn't revolve around the idea in this build, the talent is actually a lot worse than it sounds. The problem is that when using any combat spell, it doesn't really give you enough of an extension to really profit from it. Because when you're casting a certain spell, you offset that bit of extra duration that you get from the talent with the actual cast animation of the spell. So it doesn't really feel like an extension of the potion's duration, but rather a small pause in the depletion of the remaining time that you have where the potion's effect is actually active. And that means that if you want to set up a loop where you just want to use a single focus potion forever and just always benefit from the reduced cooldowns, it is pretty much impossible thanks to the cooldowns and switching between spells and dodging enemies' attacks, etc, etc. You will just run out of the potion's remaining duration anyways. It is not good good enough to upkeep the Focus Potion's active effect forever. So the idea that I had is pretty much rendered useless. Or does it? Now, I really wanted to get a effect where we can just infinitely use the Focus Potion's effect without having to chug a new potion every 10 seconds. And for that reason, I tested out every single spell and mechanic in the game to see if we can infinitely keep a Focus Potion active without ever needing to use another Focus Potion. Spoiler alert, none of the combat spells in the game can do so. Even Flipendo, which has the lowest cooldown out of any combat spell in the game, isn't fast enough with its reduced cooldown, which pretty much allows you, by the way, to spam it with a Focus Potion to actually give you a net positive to the remaining duration of your Focus Potion. But then a light bulb glowed up and I realized that there are spells in the game that have extremely low cooldowns, but they are not really used in combat, well, until this point. See, 3 out of the 4 blue utility spells aren't fast enough, even with their pretty much non-existent cooldown, to actually gain duration for the potion's remaining duration. This is not due to the aforementioned cooldowns, but rather thanks to the duration of the cast animation. It's just a fraction too long to really benefit from it. However, there is one spell that has a non-existent cooldown and a non-existent cast animation when using a Focus Potion, and that is Lumos. This means that we can actually use Lumos to gain duration so fast for our Focus Potion, we can heal it up all the way back to its full duration just by spamming Lumos. With Lumos we can thus infinitely keep using one Focus Potion no matter where we go, because we can just spam Lumos anywhere and everywhere. So for those that don't know what a Focus Potion exactly does, it basically just reduces the cooldowns of our spells. It brings down the cooldown of the Avada Kedavra spell from 90 seconds all the way to around 18 seconds. Casting something as powerful as Avada Kedavra every 18 seconds is absolutely nuts, and now we can actually enjoy having this reduced cooldown active infinitely, essentially thanks to Lumos and the Focus Potion trait. So doing basic maths, it means we get a 80% decrease from a Focus Potion for all our spells. That means that in the case of Flipendo, which has a 5-second cooldown, it will now have a 1-second cooldown after using a Focus Potion. Yes, and now you know why we took the talent that enhances Flipendo in the Dark Arts talent tree. It is the absolute fastest way to actually apply curses on everything, because we can apply a curse every second with it, and that means we can spam an entire area with this spell, curse up everything instantly, and then kill them off with Avada Kedavra, and do that over and over. It is actually also even better than Crucio, because with Crucio you can actually kill the mob it is applied on, especially if it's a lower HP mob like a wolf. So let's take a look at an example of how this idea works in reality. Here is a clip of a full arena clear. Instantly, I start drinking a Focus Potion and cast Avada Kedavra when the troll shows up. Easy peasy. Troll is instantly deleted. And after the troll is defeated and the arena starts loading up for wave 2, I spam Lumos to heal up the Focus Potion potency talent and get our entire duration back. Then in wave 2, I apply the curse on everything. Make sure to actually keep weaving in Lumos to maintain the upkeep of our potion, and while doing so also dodge obviously and keep on applying curses as much as you want really. In this case, I do go ahead and apply the curse on all the wolves, even though I can already use Avada Kedavra again because its cooldown is already over. However, I curse up every wolf and then accordingly use Avada Kedavra just a few seconds after I used it in wave 1 for the troll. And that already shows you how fast we're using Avada Kedavra. The thing is, you don't even have to really pay attention to incoming attacks because you can completely heal up through our Curse Sapper talent, which will activate every time we use Avada Kedavra on all these cursed enemies, and as you see, the heals get really juicy. Rinse and repeat for wave 3. The exact same principle applies here. Curse up everything with Flipendo, make sure our potion doesn't run out with Lumos, and then we use Avada Kedavra yet again. We can use Avada Kedavra every few seconds thanks to this idea, and that in itself introduces a completely different way to play the game. In a way that also introduces both micromanagement as well as macromanagement, so it's actually also fun. Micromanagement being the application of the curses on everything or till you're satisfied satisfied, while simultaneously upkeeping our focus potions duration through Lumos, while macro management being obviously not dying and using Avada Kedavra to kill off everything every few seconds. It is a pretty fun way to actually play the game, and completely unorthodox and different from any other playstyle I've tried out so far. And maybe the way to introduce actual build versatility in this game is by thinking completely outside of the box. And yes, even in the open world, you can absolutely maintain the effect of a focus potion while you explore everything basically. Just make sure to keep casting it. For example, kill off a group with Avada Kedavra right here, then move on to the next group of enemies while maintaining the Lumos casts, and right away you can yet again use Avada Kedavra on the next group of enemies, and with that you can really spam Avada Kedavra without using focus potions for every new group. And there's actually a limit of 12 focus potions that you can have at all times, so even in that case the playstyle isn't really viable anyways, but with Lumos we can just keep using the effect of a singular focus potion forever. Now you might ask, what is the best way to get a focus potion, and I would 100% say get the hopping potion spellcraft. Craft 3 of them and you will get 3 potions for every 12 minutes, and the likelihood of one of these being focus potions is quite high actually. I get a full inventory of focus potions quite consistently. Just loot these, and like I said, with the method that I showed you in this video, you can use a singular potion for a very long time. Otherwise, just crafting them the regular way is also pretty fast, considering the world is literally ridden with the ingredients that they require. But the hopping stations are an absolute godsend, so definitely get those as well. Then for our traits, since our build depends on Avada Kedavra spam and that just one-shots everything anyways, we don't need any type of trait that enhances our damage output. It would just be a waste. So we're going to go with the Ancient Magic Focus trait 6 times. Yes, it stacks. This means we will build up our Ancient Magic bar so fast, we will pretty much have it always full when we're not busy casting Flipendo or Avada Kedavra. We can then use our Ancient Magic to quickly get rid of mobs that we forgot to curse up, or just that we don't want to bother with using Avada Kedavra, just for speed for example. It is an additional quick one-shot that supplements the rest of my build very well. We only then also need one spell set for this build. Yes, just one. It is exactly everything I mentioned in the video so far. Lumos for the potion upkeep, Flipendo for the quick curse application, and Avada Kedavra for killing everything. The only reason I really took Crucio is to break red and yellow shields while simultaneously also applying a curse, so it fits the idea of the build, but I definitely did not prioritize it over Flipendo to apply curses. Keep in mind that also if you only took the points I recommended in this video, you will have a bunch of other points to spend in your talents. So if you want to also integrate other spells and talents, make sure to watch my other Hogwarts Legacy video, which is basically an all-round build using all spells and using what I have found to be the best, but also very important, the most fun setup and combos. Link for that will be in the description. To optimize the playstyle in this build, you really want to utilize those 18 seconds of reduced cooldown that you have with Avada Kedavra by cursing up as much as possible with Flipendo while maintaining your potion upkeep with Lumos. And the 18 seconds in that sense is actually very useful, because you don't want to literally just use Avada Kedavra for every single enemy, because it will take like an hour to clear up a camp that way thanks to the very cool looking animation, but yeah, the animation takes a bit too long. I found to turn off the default targeting option the best by the way for this playstyle, because you can switch your targets with your controller instead of your camera, and if you don't know what I mean with that statement, well, just check it out for yourself and you'll know exactly what I mean. Now, obviously all the footage in this video was recorded on hard mode, showing you that while this build is very unorthodox, it is definitely very viable and very powerful. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe for more, hit the bell, you know exactly what to do, and finally let me know your thoughts in the comments.